Hey guys, what's going on? Spade of the Baltmatrix here, and today we are taking a look at a big kahuna. We are taking a look at Ultimate Optimus Prime from the Transformers Prime line. This guy comes to me care of BBTS, and yes, I did pay for it. So, what are we looking at here? Well, we're looking at a pretty darn big box. I mean, this guy is not a tiny box, and he's got a lot of stuff on said box. He even comes with lights. Alright, so I haven't opened this figure up. I'm going to open him up, give you guys a quick first look with my face, and then we will be moving over to the review table to get even a closer look. So, give me just a second to get him unboxed. So we've gotten Prime out of the box, and I'll show him to you in a second, but I want to show you the accessories first. He comes with 5 different missiles of varying usefulness. He also comes with this shield, which is this weird bug-like Megatron-esque Decepticon symbol. I guess it's supposed to be a dragon. I'm not totally sure. There's no paint on it for me to tell. And this big-ass sword. I mean, for crying out loud, this sword is bigger than most deluxe figures. I'm not kidding about that either. See what I mean? Starscream. Deluxe Starscream. Sword. The sword is bigger than Starscream. What the hell? One thing I have noticed about the sword is, even though it's cool, it's all modeled in the same plastic, and to be honest, this plastic is kind of translucent. If you hold it up to a light, you're going to be able to get light to pass through it. That worries me a little bit. I don't think this thing is made of the best quality plastic in the world, and neither is the shield. I mean, they're both made of this really soft, rubbery plastic that, yeah, the sword looks cool, but man, I am going to have to paint this thing something fierce. And now, for the big kahuna himself. This figure is freaking huge. It has the lights, like we saw earlier, where you push this down and you get lights, but yeah, that's interesting. But he's also got quite a bit of a backpack, and we'll get into this a little bit more, but I wanted to show you guys this I mean, look at this. I feel like Power Master Prime a little bit here from the 86 commercials, or 88 or 89. Of course, Power Master Prime's head was bigger than, what was his name? Billy, Jimmy, Timmy, Squishy. Whatever. Alright, let's move over to the review table. Fully loaded up with the weapons and the missiles, Optimus Prime is a very imposing figure here in robot mode. And he is quite large and very clicky with the ratchet joints. To give you guys an idea on the size, well, first off, he's bigger than a lot of Megazords I own. Here's one Megazord. That's pretty big. He's also vastly bigger than Voyager Prime from the same toy line. So here's Voyager Prime in front of Ultimate Prime. As you can see, he is significantly larger than that. And here's what a Voyager class figure used to be. Still bigger than that. In this case, the size is actually helpful to the figure, because the figure overall lacks really any detail. I mean, there is some detail and some sculpting, but other than that, you don't get much of a character other than, I'm Optimus Prime, I'm a big-ass truck. Now, I will admit that's sometimes all you need in a Prime figure. I will admit I do like the weapons. I like specifically his dragon meat cleaver here. The shield is okay, but I prefer just the meat cleaver. But if you're going to have a figure like this, you kind of need the sword and shield. He is ridiculously top-heavy, though. This whole gimmick back here is so heavy that the ratchets in the hips and the hinges in the knees really can't take it, because if you have him straight, you see how much weight that's putting, how much he's leaning back. This thing is really heavy. Removing the weapons, let's talk about his posability. It's actually pretty good, but remember, really top-heavy. So take all this posability with a grain of salt, folks. Head is on a swivel. It does move a little side to side, but rather tightly. Though there is an issue, his head really doesn't lock into place. So when you're playing with the head, it's easy to push down into the chest. Arms. Ratcheting swivels on the shoulders, swivels underneath that. Ratchets, well, I'm sorry, hinges in the elbow. Fists do rotate little bit. Torso. Ratchets in the legs. Plastic ratchets in the knees. No foot articulation, but he has nice big feet and nice heels. So he's not going to fall over just from stability, or I'm sorry, just from the lack of heels, but he is going to fall over from the fact that this thing back here weighs so much. Now, there are a couple of ways to make this gimmick move. You can work the gimmick primarily using the bumper up here by pushing the bumper down, and that will swing the unit around. And I'll show you the back here as it's working. But there is a problem. It has a tendency to jam, and you just saw it there. It doesn't always come back. So what I'm doing is I'm turning this with the GameCube-esque handle we got back here. So what we can do here is then when we turn the missiles, we can shoot them. To shoot the missiles, we'll turn them and then push this button. Rotate and fire. Rotate and fire. Rotate and fire. Rotate and kill everyone in the room. I said kill everyone in the room. There we go, everyone's dead. Prime's head sculpt is actually really well done here, and it's very, very show accurate. In fact, it's the most show accurate figure I think we've had in the Transformers Prime toy line. He does have light up eyes and a light up chest when you push down the bumper, but the eyes glowing green, it's all right. I appreciate the effort, though. I really do appreciate the effort on Hasbro, but I could have done without the glowing eyes. Thankfully, there are no sounds to go with it. Besides the posability issues with the weight here of the backpack and the overall lack of any real great paint apps, the other issue that this figure suffers from, or actually two issues, are one, the shoulders do not like to stay pegged in. These are just plastic pegs holding the shoulders in, and just moving the figure around and playing with it, the shoulders come undone. They're easily fixed though. The bigger issue, however, is the quality of the plastic of this figure is really, really bad, actually. Compared to the rest of Hasbro's toy line from Transformers Prime, the quality of this plastic doesn't feel right at all. It feels flimsy and frail and does not have a pleasant feel to it. It has a very almost knock-off-ish feel to the plastic. And also, the other thing that I've noticed is all of the plastic is very thin. All over the figure, you just find very thin plastic. There's a lot of cutbacks done here, unfortunately, and I understand why Hasbro would need that. Current economic conditions require some cutbacks, but this figure could have been just a little bit smaller and improved greatly in the build quality, I believe. The transformation for this figure is disappointing, to say the least. It's not that much fun, as opposed to Voyager Prime, which was significantly better in my opinion. So to start the transformation, just push the head down and then close the top on. And this little top bit, there's an issue. It doesn't want to line up and go in unless a good amount of force and some fingernails are applied. So once that's snapped into place, reach around back, unpeg the dragon fire barfing unit, then take the arms and put them straight forward like that, and make sure to fold the shoulder pads or shoulder bits into the arms. Then take the arms and turn them such that the bottom of the forearms is pointing up. And then we will rotate the arms around and they slide into place nicely. They do not peg together, but the dragon launching unit will peg into those peg holes at the bottom of the forearms. So just line those up and get those pegged in. Next up for the Gerwalk mode is take the entire torso or bottom part and rotate it 180 degrees around, and then combine the legs together, and they just peg together pretty easily. They peg together here just next to the knees, and they peg together at the feet. Then take the whole leg unit and fold it up. And the arms are supposed to peg into these pegs jutting out of the shins, but this is the most difficult part of the transformation right here because things don't always line up, and thankfully they kind of line up here, but you do have to fiddle with it for a bit just to get everything situated and plugged in. It is a little bit of a pain, but not too hard. Now, I'd say it's pretty obvious that we have another step to fulfill. So reach behind the legs and pull out the wheels. and the entire front section of the vehicle mode. So these rotate around, flip outwards towards the outside of the vehicle mode, and then these little radiator grill pieces flip out, and they peg into each other. And then the wheels will peg into peg holes here in the legs. And once you do that, you've got the vehicle mode done and over with. The resulting vehicle mode of Ultimate Optimus Prime's transformation is, in a word, or in 2 words, a complete and utter joke. Okay, 3 words. This is pathetic. I mean, flat out, this is pathetic. I mean, what is this? What the hell is this? This isn't a robot in disguise. This is a robot doing yoga. It's not even a vehicle mode, really. It's very reminiscent of the Weaponizer Optimus Prime that we got last year, where from the front, it looks like a vehicle mode. But as soon as you turn it to the side, oh dear God, there's a robot hanging off of it doing Pilates. I thought adding the weapons and the missiles might improve things a little bit, but it really doesn't. Though I did find an interesting use for the sword. I guess that would be useful in combat. Many of you aren't going to have a problem with this alt mode. I, for one, think it absolutely sucks. Especially when you compare it to the far superior Voyager class alt mode. I mean, yes, it is arguable that the transformation is exactly the same. In fact, it kind of is. But the vehicle mode is just done so much better here on the Voyager class figure compared to the Ultimate class figure. Just, this guy is so much better. The other big issue I have with this mode is the wheels. The wheels are flimsy. In fact, I think I've seen sturdier wheels on a Hot Wheels car, because these things are not pegged in real well. Most of the time when you transform it, it can't even line up correctly. And overall, the figure in this mode just feels like a waste. Right now, Ultimate Optimus Prime is not worth the asking price. Yes, this figure does have some charm to it. I like the robot mode. I think he looks good in robot mode. But the fact that he has trouble standing in robot mode is an issue. I don't really see a need for this silly handle that spins that has a robot attached to it. You can't really move or make him do what you want just by holding the handle. You gotta hold on to the figure in order to do it. Oh, let's see. Oh, this is kind of working. Ultimate Optimus Prime right now really isn't worth it. He's just too darn expensive. And for what you're getting, you're not really getting your money's worth, I would have to say. As I said, the vehicle mode is terrible. It is no fun, and it looks stupid. If you want a really good vehicle mode for Prime, stick with the Voyager class figure. There are plenty of that figure out there, and he's definitely worth it. This guy, though, there is a charm to the robot mode that I quite dig. In fact, I'm going to probably have him sitting up with the rest of my Power Rangers stuff. And I actually really do like the robot mode. But there are problems, as I've stated in the review. His weight or top heaviness is an issue. I don't really care for this gimmick. It's loud, clackety. It works most of the time, but it doesn't really add anything to Optimus Prime. Give him a mini chain gun like he has in the show. I seriously doubt he's going to get this giant fireball of death thing going, though. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video review of Ultimate Optimus Prime from the Transformers Prime toy line. I've been Spade of the Baltmatrix saying, just get the Voyager class figure. Auto light piping.